Continuing now with Fox News analyst Sarah Palin is in Arkansas this evening and has some thoughts on this scene from the Family Guy.
You're going to be this rude all evening? You haven't asked me anything about myself.
Oh, sorry. So what do your parents do?
That's better. My dad's an accountant, and my mom is the former governor of Alaska.
Did anyone else find that offensive? I really didn't find that offensive at all.
So, Governor, what do you think? It's pretty nasty, is it not?
This world is full of cruel, cold-hearted people who would do such a thing. Look, I look at Trig.
Her son Trig has Down syndrome, which is often referred to as trisomy G. G Trig. I mean, tell me that's not some fucked up shit. That's like having a kid with autism and naming him Autumn.
And I see perfection. I see a precious little child already toddling around. You can see that he has a heart of gold.
No one is disputing that.
I also can see into the future.
You can what?
I also can see into the future.
Say again.
I also can see into the future that Trig is going to have a pretty tough, challenging life in front of him. He's going to face things as special needs children will be facing much more difficult than we ever will. So why make it tougher on the special needs community? That's what I thought when I first heard about this this episode that really isn't funny.
Okay, so I'm just curious as to how a cartoon of a kid going on a date with someone who's retarded or mentally handicapped, or however you want me to say it, I don't see how that makes it harder for handicapped people to go through life. Like what, they're never going to go on a date? Is that what you're saying? And not to mind, you took the whole damn episode out of context. The whole episode is about how Brian had come to the realization that they were no different than any other person, and so he'd asked this girl out. But of course, let's ignore that, take it totally out of context, and it's an insult to you and your fucking family. Jesus Christ, you are fucking something else, you dumb bitch.
But so many people had asked me, well, what's your reaction to this? You know, you had RAHM EMANUEL using the effing retard term, calling people out, and you've had other people mocking, even our president mocked Special Olympiads. And well, what do you say about this Fox Hollywood episode of this cartoon? And
I would just like to point out the sweet, sweet irony that it's Fox versus Fox News and Fox News versus Fox. That's like if it was NBC versus MSNBC. I mean, it's pretty fucking funny. Nobody likes Fox News, not even Fox Hollywood, as Palin calls it.
One person who would ask me my reaction was my daughter Bristol. And I asked Bristol, I said, well, honey, what do you think about this? And Bristol gave me words that were very wise and very gracious. And they were such good words in terms of what her response was to this episode that I Facebooked it today. And I'm like, Bristol, I'm going to let your words speak for me because you're much more gracious and I guess forgiving of things like this than I could be. So on my Facebook has the comments from Bristol that kind of sum up the way I look at people who think that things like this are funny.
Anyone else notice how Fox News didn't play along and put up an address to her Facebook page?
All right, you want to just give us a hint? And some people don't have computers and stuff like that. And
yeah,
just
well,
to summarize it, how?
Yeah, and then Billow's like, yeah, I'm sorry there, Sarah, but this is not an advertisement for your Facebook, or your Twitter for that matter. We know you love to do the social networking sites more than anything because you're like a fucking teenage girl in the head. But why don't you go ahead and give us some details, because this is trying to be a news program as best it can.
When is enough enough? And when are we going to be willing to say, you know, some things just aren't really funny?
Well, I'll tell you when enough's enough. When I'm personally insulted. When someone personally insults Sarah Palin, that's when she starts giving a damn. Screw getting on Family Guy's ass for clips like this.
Now, if you want to go to hell, that's fine. But don't drag the rest of us down with you like a mentally handicapped rooster. Cock-a-doodle-doo! Cock-a-doodle-doo!
Good night, everybody!
Or this.
Oh, this is my favorite event. Catch the greased-up deaf guy.
Go!
You're never gonna catch me. You're wasting your time. Forget about it. Go do something else. See you next year.
Or this.
Sorry, return it.
Oh, that's okay then.
You don't know any better.
Oh, bless your heart.
Geez, didn't you hear me a second ago? I'd return it.
Oh, you're just curious. Well, let me show you how everything works down there.
Or this.
Doggy.
Ow.
Doggy.
Ow.
Doggy.
Too hard.
I like doggy.
Too hard.
Doggy.
Gonna bite.
Doggy.
Gonna bite.
Doggy.
Oh, jeez.
Or any of the other hundreds of examples of them doing things about handicapped, mentally challenged, or retarded people. She's going to ignore all of that. We never heard a peep out of her for any of those. Not a peep. But all of a sudden, bam, now it's, hot topic because they happen to mention former governor of Alaska. Now it's about you, and now it's personal.
No, I agree with you. Look, this guy McFarlane who did this, is a hater. Makes a lot of money for Fox, but I think there should be some standards sometime, but apparently there aren't.
Careful what you wish for, Bill. If they start setting standards on Fox Entertainment Channel, they might actually start to set some standards on Fox News Channel, and then, well, you're fucked.
Well, this is what Bristol said about it, too, though. Bristol reminded me, and she'll remind these million-plus Facebook readers, she's going to remind people that those in the special needs community truly are some of the most loving and compassionate people in the world. So why pile it on to them and make their lives even much more challenging?
Yeah,
she said it best.
I'm not seeing your point here, because the clip that O'Reilly showed in the beginning there was just two people on a date, and they were just talking back and forth. And sure, she had a speech impediment because she was handicapped. That was kind of the point of the show. I mean, are you that embarrassed? You seem proud of your child, but then you're embarrassed that anyone out there should know what someone that's mentally handicapped looks or sounds like. I mean, seriously, I'm very befuddled at your taking offense to this in any way. I mean, do you not understand that that's eventually what your son is going to look or sound like? Fine, I mean, that's going to happen. Can you not watch a movie with, like, Rain Man? Rain Man you can't watch because that's insensitive or something? There's nobody out there with autism? You make no sense, bitch. No sense.
Now, I want to give you a chance to clarify something that I've gotten a lot of mail on. You call for Rahm Emanuel to actually step aside because he said effing retard. And then Rush Limbaugh said it. He was talking about political correctness. That was before Emanuel, I think it was.
I've been saying it longer than all those motherfuckers. Fucking retard.
But you said, okay, there was a difference between what Emanuel did.
Yeah,
and
so
what
let's
Limbaugh
talk
did.
about this. Let's clarify. First, Rahm Emanuel, who represents the most powerful man, the leader of our free world, called people, a group of people whom he disagreed with, effing retards. Quite inappropriate. And on my Facebook, I said there too, I don't think he should be part of our president's inner circle making decisions that affect every single one of us. So that's what I said about Rahm Emanuel. I thought that that was very insensitive, and not just for that reason, his terminology, his coarse language, but I think he's given our president some very bad advice in a whole realm of different areas. So I think, there needs to be a replacement there.
Ah, yes, but Rush Limbaugh would never do that, right?
And as for Rush Limbaugh, no, I believe that it was after Rahm Emanuel said what he said that Rush Limbaugh, using satire, not calling a group of people effing retards, but using, yes, the R word.
She'll say retarded, and then she'll say R word.
Retards, but using, yes, the R word. And I said that calling names of any person, any party, it's just, come on, let's all grow up and let's not call each other names, because it certainly kind of invalidates what our argument's all about when we start calling people names.
This guy McFarlane who did this is a hater.
Kind of invalidates what our argument's all about when we start calling people names. This world is full of cruel, cold-hearted people who would do such a thing. Kind of invalidates what our argument's all about when we start calling people names.
Okay, but just to be clear, you didn't come down on Mr. Limbaugh because you felt that, what, he didn't have any ill intent in what he said, or why didn't you come down on him a little harder?
As I have explained, he was using satire, using the R word so he can bring to light what it was that Rahm Emanuel was calling other people. And
okay.
Oh, come on, Bill. Don't just say okay. Bring up the motherfucking context. Be a real journalist for once in your motherfucking life. Why must I do all the work? Here is what Rush Limbaugh said.
Our political correct society is acting like some giant insults taking place by calling a bunch of people who are retards, retards. I'm not going to apologize for it.
I'm not taking that out of context. I'm just editing it for time. And by the way, if Sarah Palin wants to claim that Rush Limbaugh was just saying it in a satirical way, then why can't Family Guy show someone that's mentally handicapped going out on a date. And they weren't even saying retard this and retard that.
And then, too, I think that's why a lot of people said, okay, well, you come down hard on the president for teasing Special Olympiads. You come down hard on RAHM Emanuel for calling people effing retards. Are you going to say anything about Fox having this episode about Family Guy teasing a special needs child? And that's why I reacted to that one.
No, it's not. And everybody that watches Family Guy knows better. They know that Family Guy makes fun of everybody all the time. And they've been making fun of retards and handicapped people for a long time, too. So for you to jump in here now, we know that it's just because they brought up the former governor of Alaska, you. So you took it personally. Fuck you. Coctopus out.
Just to be clear,
we are effing retards.